Hey everyone, welcome back to our Builder Spotlight series. Today we have a special guest. Rayane is joining us. Rayane is a Xano and WeWeb freelancer, and we're really excited to talk to you about your journey. If you are not aware, he also shared his whole journey of building a rental car application on social media, went step by step on what he was working on. So really excited to dive into that. And of course, like what you're excited about in the future. So, Rayane, we'll go ahead and get started.
Hello, everyone.
First question for you. If you wouldn't mind just telling us a little bit about your background before getting into the space of visual development. Were you always interested in this space, or is it something that emerged later on?
I was not very into IT in the beginning of my life. I was making like studies for engineering, but not into software engineering or anything like that. But then I passed my driving certification or driving exam. I don't know how to tell it in English, but and then the person who was like teaching me how to drive, she wanted like a software to manage all her students, like a calendar to manage all the lessons, everything like that. And in the same time, I was looking into another tool that was Bubble. So I thought like, well, I know Bubble just a little bit, but why not like say her like I know to build softwares, and then from that, I told her like I can build a software to manage all this for you if you want. And then it was my first mission, my first software that I've built with Bubble. It was really complicated in the beginning, but then it was more and more easy. And for my first project, I saw that I'm really good at it. I built a really good product. She liked it. Then after that, like I was going like fully into visual development. Then I meet the Xano team and WeWeb team at the Knockout Summit in Paris. It was really good, thanks to them. And they told me like they showed me like the tool of WeWeb, Xano, how it works, stuff like that. And then I switched from Bubble to Xano and WeWeb. I learned WeWeb and Xano. In the beginning, it was really hard, not going to lie. But with experience and time, so that's why basically I built the sports car rental platform. It was for my portfolio, basically, just to like train myself and see where I can go for a first project like that. So basically, I learned, how to use WeWeb and Xano just without any academy or anything, just by myself. And then I built, like you said previously, the sport car platform. It was really good from what I seen to social media. And then, from that, I built several other projects because people was reaching me to build their project, basically.
Yeah, that is so cool. I love that story.
Yeah.
And I love that you got started by doing something that actually had like a real world application to it, right?
Yeah.
So like the person that was teaching you how to drive was like, oh, it'd be really cool if I had software that could help me manage my students. And then that kind of brought you into the world of visual development. And then you started out with Bubble, correct? And then moved on to like WeWeb and Xano.
Exactly.
And for those who may not be familiar, could you briefly explain what WeWeb and Xano are and what made you choose these platforms, the primary ones to work with?
So basically, I choose WeWeb and Xano because in traditional development, we basically have like the front end and back end separated instead of like Bubble all in one. But it's not the only argument. I choose Xano because instead of Supabase, like I can do everything I want, and I don't have to like write a single line of code. Of course, you have sometimes you will need to use like Lambda function JavaScript code to be a little bit easier. But yeah, you can basically do everything you want, and I haven't found a single problem with Xano. So yeah, it's a perfect tool for me. And for WeWeb, you can basically build everything you want, animation, any workflow you want. You can do really everything you want. So that's why I choose them instead
Yeah,
of others.
absolutely. There's a lot of people out there that choose that combo, and it's certainly a powerful combination to build projects on. So that's great to hear. And kind of going back, like when you were kind of getting started in this space of visual development, I'm just curious, as you were kind of getting started, you were self-taught, right? So you kind of taught everything that you know.
Exactly.
You taught it to yourself. Was there a moment in that journey at the beginning where you were like, this is awesome? Like, was there something that clicked for you?
Yeah.
And then from that moment, you were hooked.
Yeah, exactly. Basically, I think it's when you understand really good the principle of like object and array, how to manage data basically. When you understand that really well, you can play with data like you want. You can build anything. You can. It's just those two concepts: object, array, and then you can build everything you want.
Yeah, no, 100%. That is definitely a ticket. You have to be familiar with types.
Yeah, because in the beginning it was really difficult. Like when I do for each loop, I I use like the object instead of the array, and then why it's not working, stuff like that. But when you understand, you can play everything you want. Like use a loop inside the loop, and then filter data that you want. You can do everything you want. So yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Absolutely. And so when you started with visual development, did you have this knowledge? It sounds like you didn't, right? Like you didn't have the knowledge of like an array and an object. I'm just curious, like, what were some of the tools that you used to learn these concepts? And if you have any recommendations for people that may be watching this and they want to get started but don't know necessarily where.
I haven't, sorry, used other tools instead of Xano and WeWeb. When I like built the sports car rental platform, I just learned like that. Like I in the beginning I was making like errors, and then you try and repeatedly, and then I found like where the problem was and stuff like that. You just have to try and not quit. It's simple as that, and then you will understand where the faults come from.
100%. I love that. It's amazing. It sounds like everything that you learned was from these platforms, and you were learning by doing, right? So you were like, I'm in a project. You tried it. It didn't work. You were debugging, digging in, figuring out the
Exactly,
solution.
debugging was the like number one thing. When
Yeah,
you debug and know it's working, you understand where the fault was from, and then you're not making the same mistakes.
absolutely. That's great. I love to hear your journey through all of that, because that's like one of the things that we recommend the most is like learning by doing. And speaking about that, I want to jump into talking a little bit about the car rental application that we have mentioned a couple of times. And I'm just curious, like what inspired you to build a car rental application specifically? And like, was there a particular need or an idea behind it?
Basically, it was because I like the concept of like marketplace. I wanted sorry to build something in WeWeb like for my portfolio, and then I felt like maybe it's management software and too complicated. And then marketplace, I really liked it. When you can log in and book a car and enter Stripe, like it. When I build this, it like just showcase like that I can master Stripe, a lot of tools. So that's why basically I choose that, and then I plugged Stripe into the Xano function stack, the Stripe API. So it was really complicated, but then it worked. And for the concept of car, basically here when I was already in vacation in Morocco, I just wanted to like rent a car, and it was really complicated. Like, you had to call someone to WhatsApp and stuff like that. And I thought, why not like build a platform that's showcase just all cars that are available for a specific city, and then you can book this car and stuff like that. So that's why I choose this concept basically.
That is awesome. I feel like you're always kind of thinking, kind of the trend that I've noticed is
Yeah.
you're always thinking about like how to solve real world problems with your applications. Like it's not just like, oh, like let me do this because it sounds fun. Like there's always like a reason behind it.
Yeah.
And something that you're trying to make easier with the things that you're building. And like you mentioned, like you hooked it up to Stripe, all that good stuff. And I saw that as you were posting your progress in social media. And I am curious about, you kind of went through this journey and you showcased it. What kind of feedback did you receive from the community as you were posting your progress? And did anything that the community was saying influence the development or design of the platform?
When you talk about community, like Xano community, or just the no code community in general?
Just the no code community in general, as you were sharing your updates of like, hey, like here's where
Yeah.
the application and such.
Yeah, they were pretty impressed in general. So that's like boosted my motivation to build more and post more stuff like that. So they liked it, and that's like boosted me more and more to build and continue in this way of visual development, and see what you can do in like really short period of time. Build like big platforms, big marketplace of stuff like that. So yeah, it's pretty amazing, and love the no code community.
It definitely, I feel like brought a lot of eyes to like what you have been working on, and there was so much excitement. I think I even noticed a comment on there that asked you if you were a designer just because it looked like so clean, like it looked so nice. Yeah, we would love to see the car rental application if you wouldn't mind giving us a tour, Ryan. And then would also love to see as you're kind of walking us through it, what were the building stages like what you built first, what you focused on, and how your journey progressed.
We have a list of vehicles basically. We have popular cars, so it's like the most rented cars here that you can see, and then all the cars that you can rent. When the user load the page in the first time, they have like a request for the position, and then you take the longitude and latitude, and then place the location. So the user don't have like to type. Oh, I can do it like manually. Let's say Paris. In yeah, it's address in USA, random address. Let's like pickup days from 6 to 8, and then do a little research of the vehicle that are available. We have all those vehicles. Let's say I want to rent this Nissan GTR. Let's first I have to fill in all the information. So the time I want to take the car in the morning, and then drop it in the evening maybe. And then the drop off location, let's say New York. Yep. And then I can of course switch the pickup and drop off location, date, and everything here with this little icon. I can filter the car, transmission, the horsepower, stuff like that. Let's use this French car. So you have all the picture of the car here, and then you have the description of the car, all the information, the horsepower, type, velocity, stuff like that, and then the review. I can of course post a review. So let's say I like this car, and then add the comments. I have to rate the car, let's say 4 stars, and click in finished. Okay, let's do another example. I don't like this car, and then let's add just 1 star. As you can see, the stars has
Calm
like
down.
yeah, gone
Yeah.
down exactly. So it's basically doing the average of all the stars, so you can have an idea of the rating. Okay, let's click on rent now. So my name, Ryan. The phone number, you can choose FR, everything you want. Let's say US because we're in the USA. So we have all the pickup information, New York, the dates that I've put in previously. And let's say, and let's click, sorry, on, you can also add a promotion code. You have the total price here. Let's click on rent now. And then, of course, it told me like the test number card for Stripe because we're not using real information here. I'm just going to copy this here. And I forgot to click here. Rent now, understand, let's go. It's opening the Stripe checkout page. Let's fill the test card and 27 random code here and Ryan. France, and let's click on book for $500. Dollars, sorry. You can see also the summary. Ryan, you ordered a rental from Tuesday, 5 November 2024 in the morning too. Okay, congratulations.
Amazing.
The rental payment was successful. The brand, the pickup, the drop-off, everything you need.
This is awesome, Ryan. I feel like as you're walking us through all of this, like one of the things that I noticed is like how snappy this project is and what a like you said that this was a side project, like something to learn with, but it just looks so complete. And you kind of thought of a lot of different scenarios, right? Like even like switching the location from like the pickup and the drop off to like being able to apply a promo code, everything like that just like looks so nice.
Thank you.
And now I'm sure everybody can see why people were asking you if you were a designer.
Yeah.
As you were building this application. So this is really cool. And I'm really curious, what was the hardest piece of the application? Like, what was the thing that you struggled with the most or took the longest to build?
In this project, I think it was setting up Stripe API in Xano, like reading all the documentation because there was like a lot of API call to set up. So I think it was this part basically. It was basically this part. That was the most difficult, and the Stripe part in Xen.
Absolutely. And I think that like, that Stripe piece is really important for a lot of like applications. And like you mentioned at the beginning, you wanted to build like a marketplace type of application because it applies to so many different scenarios. So for people that are out there and that they're like, hey, I want to build a marketplace or my application is going to be taking some type of payment, what are some of the things that like you wish you knew when you started the process of setting up Stripe? And what would you recommend for people that are getting started with that specific feature?
Yeah, so basically, I will recommend them to like really like read the Stripe documentation from the beginning to the end, and like just don't read quickly and think, okay, I have understand it, because you'll make mistakes like me. Really read, take your time to read everything, to know how it works, because sometimes like just little details that you forgot, and then you say like why it doesn't work and stuff like that. So take your time to read everything, all the documentation.
Yeah. 100%. I think reading the documentation is something that like it kind of makes you pause that process of building, right? Because sometimes like you can get stuck in this rhythm and you're like going and going, and then all of a sudden you need to figure something out and check out the documentation. But then when you're reading the documentation, it's almost at a different pace, right? Like you're kind of forced to slow down and dig a little bit more into the details and like what you're trying to accomplish. So I appreciate that tip of like stopping and reading the documentation. And I think that applies to Stripe, it applies to Xano, whatever tool you're using. Like the documentation can come in handy. I think the hardest thing for me, at least, is just like, okay, let me pause and take time to like read
Yeah,
this because I want to move so fast.
exactly. So if you click on your profile here, of course, you can change your image profile, your image profile, sorry, your number phone, your name, etc. And then you have the list of all your rents that you've done. So here, as you can see, it's our current rate or current rent, sorry. So it was this car from 6th November to 8th November in the evening. And as you can see, it's coming soon. It's not now, it's tomorrow. And this is all the previous rent that have passed, as you can see. Rent number 2, rent number 3, rent number 4, etc. With all the information, the price and everything. On payments, you can see all the payments that you've made and download the PDF of it. As you can see, a receipt, $500. So that was our last payment, I think, that you've made here. As you can see, today, 5 November. You have the status. If it's failed, it will be right and failed. You have all the statistics of all the payment that I've done. As you can see, we have all the statistics of the most rented car for me, like all the car that I've the most rented. And then you have, of course, favorite cars that you have added to the favorite list. So if I go here and click here, so this Mercedes, basically, it will be added here. Favorites here, Mercedes, as you can see. And then the inbox, I was waiting for the real-time Xano feature, but it has been released, so I can start developing these parts. But in the beginning of the year, sorry, it's hasn't been like released yet, so that's why I didn't develop this part. Sorry.
Yeah, that actually answers my next question. I was going to
Yeah,
ask you if there was something else that you were wanting to add to this that you were excited about, but here it is. It's the inbox using real time. So I'm
exactly.
excited for when you implement it and see what it looks like.
I can like show you just a little bit more of this project, because here we're logging as a driver, and you can of course log as a renter. So like you can upload a car that you want user to rent from you. So when you're logged in, you can click here and then to your garage. You can see all the cars that I have uploaded into the platform. So basically that's all my cars. I can add a car here. So here I have to fill in the exact name of the car. Let's say Audi RSQ8. Upload the main image here, as you can see. Then the first interior image, let's say this one. And then the third, say this one. Let's click on next. And then I can either choose manually the passengers info, like here it's 5 passengers, the horsepower, everything, the transmission, the type, stuff like that. Or I can either click on generate with AI. If I click here, it will automatically generate, as you can see. So it's 591 horsepower, auto SUV, and I can select the price per day that I want. Let's say $400, and it says that the platform, of course, will take 20% of each rental. So I can click on next, and I can also fill in the description of the car, or I can click on generate with AI. If I click here, you can see there is RSQ8 debuts as Audi Apex, stuff like that. Really good description. And if I click next, saying please wait, it's uploading. Okay, congratulations, your car has successfully been added to the platform. There is Audi RSQ8. And I don't know if you remember, but in the first image, there was like the background of the image. And then I use a external API to remove the background. And so it appeared like this.
Ryan, I seriously am speechless with like all of the different features that you have on this car rental application, just because you've thought of like so many things to
Yeah,
make
thank
it
you.
easy on the person, on like the user, right? On both ends, like rent a car and somebody who like wants to rent out their car.
Yeah.
Really, really nice.
So it's automatically removing the background so they don't have to do it themselves, you know?
Yeah, no, this is really, really cool. I think, one of the things that's probably going to come up and what people are going to be wondering about is like how long you have spent building this application. And of course, it varies per person, right? Depending on your technical expertise. But for you, if you had to guess, how much time have you spent on this?
I think including the fact that I was learning WeWeb and Xano at the same time, sorry, that I was building this project. I think 2 months and a half, something like that.
2.5 months. That's really
Yeah.
impressive. I mean, that's amazing. And you were learning all of this as you were
Yeah,
building it
exactly.
out. So that is really, really cool. Like I just want to say like how impressed I am on this whole
Thank you.
whole journey that you have taken us on with this application, because I feel like there's like not one thing that I'm like missing on here, right? You've thought of every detail from like the loading icons to like everything. I even saw like a little bar at the top when like the page is loading, like my
Yeah,
eyes just always going somewhere, and it just seems like such a smooth user experience. So
thank you.
amazing. Thank you so much for showing us this. And as we're wrapping up the call, I always like to ask the guest of our Builder Spotlight series, what is the one piece of advice that you would give to somebody that is getting started with visual development?
I think the biggest advice will be to be better with projects, to be better, sorry, with visual developments. I would say like to train um, and make like a personal project like I'm doing. If you want clients and stuff like that, you have to like showcase what you're capable of to other people, and then never quit. Like if you see a problem, I think the biggest part in visual development and development in general is like debug, because you will encounter a lot of bug and make a lot of mistakes, and you have to like know where the mistake and the bugs come from, so you don't make the same mistakes with the time, you know. So yeah, I think it will be this.
Absolutely. Yeah. And quick follow-up question, because you mentioned a big piece, right? Is like don't give up, like you are going to encounter errors, like that is how you learn. Were there any specific places or things that you were doing where when you needed help? Were you reaching out to like support, or where do you recommend people to go when they get stuck?
For the Xano part, the Xano community is amazing. They respond really quick, so you can ask them here. But yeah, Xano community is really good, and you can, of course, see their tutorials. It helped me a lot. Thanks to Michael, it helped me. He taught me like how to learn how objects, arrays work, and when you learn those two concepts, you're gonna like make really, really less mistakes than in the beginning.
Absolutely. Yeah. Michael has definitely helped out a lot of people with his videos. And
Yeah,
thank you again so much for bringing up that piece of like the objects and arrays, because it is so important to set you up for success. So
yeah, it's
if
basics.
anybody out there is watching and has no experience with visual development or coding, anything like that, like spend some time looking into arrays, objects, how they work, how to manipulate them, so that you can really find some success in Xano. So awesome. Thank you, Rayane. For those who want to follow your work or learn more about your journey, or I'm sure, there's going to be a lot of things that come up, like as people are watching this demo, they might be curious about how you went about doing something. Where can they find you online?
Yeah, so basically I post the most on Twitter and LinkedIn. So my Twitter is Rayane no code, and LinkedIn as well. No, my LinkedIn, sorry, is Rayane and then dot.
Awesome. I'm going to include that in the comments below as
Yeah,
well,
thank you a lot.
so that you can follow Rayane and comment on his work.
It will be easier.
Awesome. Thank you, Rayane. Thank you so much for your time. It was a pleasure
Yeah,
having you here, and we look forward to seeing you more around the community.
thank you. Thank you a lot, Liz. And thank you, the Xano team. Bye-bye.